iPhone 12 mini 1 week later. Oh, I was shocked. I was shocked with the iPhone 12 mini in a couple of ways. I'm going to tell you how. So I'm going to tell you how I was shocked. But before that, what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. And welcome to the iPhone 12 mini 1 week later. So instead of keeping you waiting, I'm going to let you know the first reason I was shocked with this phone. Now, when you're using a case with this device, people have been reporting it. Apple is aware of this issue as well because people have been talking about it in the community forums. But I was a little bit shocked that this phone was so awesome to take out of the box and then come to find out that touchscreen issues when putting my case on. You just seen it right there. Now it seems to be an issue sometimes with the one, but you seen right there, there'll be little delays on the screen when you are trying to unlock the phone. You could see right there, the delete button was just lagging there. The flash, you'll see right here with a case on, it's literally doing nothing here on the phone and the camera. So, I mean, this just shocked me because we've been waiting forever for a phone like this. And the initial experience, I've already heard people returning this phone already. Like, whoa, like returning this device already. I'm sure it's going to get fixed. So I think some of you guys got a little bit impatient, but I mean, I could understand if you just paid $700 and that can make people angry and just get rid of the phone and go get something else like the 12 or 12 Pro, which not having this issue. So hopefully that can be fixed. That's one of the ways I was shocked. I'm not going to lie. But let's now talk about my experience 1 week later with the body and the build of this device. Now, I'm going to talk a lot about the size and ergonomics because that's really the story of the iPhone 12 mini. But the body and the build, it's the iPhone 12 shrunken down. I like how clean the sides are on this phone, versus like the 12 Pro, 12 Pro Max. It just has a really clean look and really practical as well because your hands won't make it all messy on the sides. Now the back, I'm going to say that this can get fingerprinty, but it doesn't show that much on a lot of these colors of iPhone 12. Maybe the blue might show it a little bit more, and the black does pick up quite a bit of lint, and my girlfriend actually has the white one, so she definitely hasn't been having any issues with looking dirty on the phone because the white one doesn't show basically anything. It looks clean all the time. And maybe the mint green one should also look pretty clean all the time, but I am appreciating this black color. It's really similar to the older, iPhone 5 days. So I really do like this color. Now, the design, guys, it reminds me of before. I'm not going to show it because we showed it in multiple comparisons. How the iPhone SE used to look, the iPhone 5, 5S, those devices right there. This is basically a reincarnation of those phones with a little bit of a taller body. It's just a little bit taller. People have been pointing out, oh Nick, man, that's not an iPhone SE, that's not an iPhone 5S. They should have literally took the iPhone 5S SE and put that in there, not give me a little bit bigger. I didn't want that. I wanted a smaller one. Well, here's the deal. Listen up here. I'm sure it's a little bit difficult to get that big of a screen for Apple and dual cameras in a phone that small. So I'll take what we can get with just a little bit of a upsize. Now, it's a little bit smaller than something like the 7, 8, and the SE. So you got that. It's kind of tweener phone in between those small phones, but it is the king of small phones right now, in my opinion. Now, when it comes to the weight, this thing only weighs 135 grams. What does that mean? It means it's stupid light. Depending on what case you put on it, you could massively increase the weight if you put one of those bulky, thick cases on here, which are made for this phone. You can increase the weight. And some of you might be getting yourself a battery pack for this phone. We'll talk more about why you might be doing that later. But if you do, that's going to massively increase the weight. The best way to use this phone for me is a screen protector and a skin. A case is causing touchscreen issues right now. In addition to that, the phone just feels so much better with without a case on it, to be honest. But I know a lot of people are just not going to take that risk. This is just too much of an investment in a phone, and I could totally understand why. But I think the best way to hold this phone is without a case. It just feels the lightest. It feels the most compact, the way it was intended. But again, people need protection, and that's why you're hearing a lot about, touchscreen issues with cases on. Now, another thing, I was like, where's my phone? Oh man, where's my phone the other day? Because the iPhone 12 mini, I couldn't find it in my pocket. I mean, it was so light. Where's my phone? Like, I was like scrambling, that stuff when your mind's occupied on something else, you forget you got where your phone's at. I was scrambling looking for the 12 mini because this thing literally got lost in my pocket. That reminds me a lot of the iPhone 5 days. That stuff used to happen all the time. Then you feel the big bulky iPhone 12 Pro Max. I mean, it's not the biggest phone in the world, but these bigger phones out here, you feel them in your pocket. Even, 11 Pro, you felt that thing in your pocket. This thing, you might have that happen sometimes. It's not that it's a bad thing. It's just pay attention to where you're putting your mini because it is so lightweight at 135 grams. You're definitely going to probably run into that situation sometimes, unless, again, if you have a huge case on it. 1 week later with the display. Now, I praise this phone for being the sharpest PPI out there, but as some people mentioned, you're not really going to notice that too much in the comments. Some people mention that because the screen's small. And after using it for a week, I agree with you guys there because you really don't. It is 476, but because the screen's small, this looks as sharp as pretty much any other iPhone 12 out there. So I'm not gonna overly boast about its 476 PPI or whatever it is. It's up there. It's one of the highest ever. But I will boast about how you're getting OLED display on this small body. That is fantastic because it's a high-end display and it gets plenty bright 625 nits at this size is great. Now, some people say the notch is just too much at that size. If you've used any of the other iPhones before, this one won't bother you either. But I do notice that the notch it is more noticeable because you don't have enough screen real estate to not notice it. So on the 12 Pro Max, you have so much screen real estate, your eye will be kind of looking down here, but you will see the notch more on this phone just because that screen real estate. So if I pop this thing into landscape, let's go ahead and pop it into landscape, and I zoom in on text, you can see that I think Samsung phones, they kind of like cut this off so it doesn't go into the punch hole on certain web browsing, browsers and stuff. I think the Samsung browser does this, but on Apple, you can zoom right into that notch and you could see if the screen's small and you want to do some zooming and read, you got to kind of avoid cutting your text into the notch. So the notch is noticeable. I think this phone would have been better if they just got rid of the Face ID for this one, lowered the price because they got rid of Face ID, put a Touch ID sensor right there. That would have been fantastic. I could already imagine that without the notch right there and a Touch ID, but that's not what happened with this device. And feel free to disagree with me. I do think Face ID is pretty awesome too on this smaller phone because it's just really high tech feeling for such a small body. And I don't want to go on and on about software because it's iOS 14. We covered this in depth. You got your app library, you got widgets on this phone, which have been disappointing me a little bit. As the clock widget, my favorite widget from iOS 14, has been frozen pretty much all morning and all week. I haven't had any way to get this to work. This has been happening in 14.2 for the iPhone 12 Pro Max as well. The other widgets work fine, but this clock widget keeps freezing up. But I still think it's nice to have widget support on such a smaller phone like this. So the iPhone 12 mini with iOS 14 is pretty much a joy to use. It wouldn't be fair to talk about my 1 week later without talking about the one thumb typing. It is back, and I don't know if everyone will be able to do this so easy, but I think most people will. Hey, this is a test. The one thumb typing is easy. Easy. That's way easy. This is so easy to type on with one hand. And if you have big fans, if you have big hands, this iPhone 12 mini will, your hand will swallow this phone whole, and then you'll just be able to type like nothing on this phone. If you're the type of person who's got keys in one hand, a wallet in the other hand, you're fumbling around, this is the phone for you. You're a fast person, you're always dropping your phone because it's too large. You're gonna love this iPhone 12 mini. And performance. You already seen in my speed test that the 12 mini is a little rocket of a phone. No matter what you're doing, you are getting fantastic everyday performance on this device. And that the only thing that's really killing that for some people is, again, those touchscreen issues. Loving the performance though. The A14 is just pretty amazing to have a 5nm chipset with the ability to do video editing, video rendering, play games on this phone, and not really run into any stutter. And 4 gigs of RAM, Apple has proven in the past they don't need to have 8 to 12 gigs of RAM to run their phone smooth. So the 12 mini, thumbs up on the performance. It's a beast in a small package. And I went with the 128GB storage. I recommend this as the minimum if you guys are going to be keeping this phone for 3 to 4 years. And the cameras. I don't have much to say about these because they've been the same as the iPhone 12. We have the wide angle, we have the regular standard wide, It's just really cool to have HDR video on a phone this small and have super high quality video. This is a very discreet phone. People aren't going to know you're recording if you're recording outside anything serious, but you're going to be getting some serious quality. Portrait modes are fantastic. They do better than prior iPhones. And overall, I got to say, I'm going to show you some photos on screen. I'm pretty happy with its overall performance. And I just like how it's a little pocket portable B-roll camera or even an everyday camera. This is just, it reminds me a lot of how we have like Sony RX100 cameras in the camera market. For phones, this is the portable pocket powerhouse camera. This is the one you want if you want the most portability when taking your photos. Some people really do like the larger viewfinders though on the larger iPhones, which make this a little bit of a hard sell for those people. But for those of you who like it discreet, you like it small, you just want to pull it out, you don't want people seeing what you're taking photos of, this is going to be fantastic for you. And I also like that unlike prior iPhone, the smaller iPhones, this one now has a fantastic video camera on the front, 4K 60. This is a major upgrade from the iPhone 5S, iPhone 6. I mean, this is insane video quality on the front compared to those older, smaller iPhones, which usually had great rear camera at the time, but they definitely gave up on the front and didn't give you something amazing. And so let's talk about the battery life. I feel like a lot of people want to know, how does the iPhone 12 mini perform in the battery? But it's pretty obvious that this is going to be the worst battery life of the iPhone lineup. It's just physics. You have the smallest iPhone, smallest battery. Now, how much worse is it though is the real question. And I'm going to prepare a video battery test soon on this thing, but the iPhone 12 mini, I can tell you, gets about an hour less than the 12. It gets a couple hour less than the 12 Pro and quite a few less than the iPhone 12 Pro Max. So if you're looking for all day battery life, and you're a heavy user, this probably won't work for you. But if you're a medium to light user, if you're gonna buy this phone because you're trying to stay off your phone, you're trying to be in your phone all day, and that's a great reason why you get a small screen, the iPhone 12 mini will suffice for those users. And also, if you're just like, yo, I'm staying at home, I got chargers around the office, I don't care. I go to work, I got car charger in my car, I charge my phone every day before work, on the way to work or after work. Nick, bro, I have my charging system set up, I have a battery pack. I don't care about that. Then the battery is not going to matter. But keep in mind also, when you have a smaller capacity, your battery health of the phone may not last as long because you just simply have a smaller capacity. So this maximum capacity right here, where you're going to have to replace your battery, might come quicker than you'll see on the over 3,000 milliamp hour batteries on phones like the Pro Max. Call quality and 5G. Now, I have T-Mobile 5G, so we all know this is not the fastest 5G on the planet. They're going to be a little bit behind AT&T and Verizon, but even with the T-Mobile 5G, I'm getting faster performance than LTE. So definitely liking that you are future-proofed here on this small phone. That's why one of the main reasons to buy an iPhone 12. And 1 week later, my final conclusion with the 12 mini is that I was surprised in two ways. Surprised by how amazing this phone was to use, but also surprised by how it's having touch issues with the case. So definitely, I think for those of you rocking this as your daily driver, let us know if you guys have been experiencing any of those sensitivity issues. By the time you see this video, maybe Apple would already have fixed that, but that's just my 1 week later experience. Stay tuned for the review. I'm actually going to do another video on this phone, a full review, where I give my in-depth analysis on this device. I'm still working on more photo and video samples of this phone. But overall, I gotta say, if you want a very amazing small phone, I would probably wait to pick this up until that bug gets sorted out. Maybe they can do a software update. But if you already are waiting for it, I think you're gonna be very happy with the overall performance. Once you get into the phone runs fantastic. There's an amazing camera on here. And that's about it. It's been pretty great. If you guys found this video helpful, entertaining, informing, do me a favor, click that like button for me. If you're new here, consider subscribing for more. Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Be sure to be well, and peace.